Hello, yogis. Welcome to our class today. If you have a bolster and blocks handy, of course, that will always be of assistance. And if not, a folded blanket will also help. If you happen to have one, this is just for warmth right now. All right, so we're going to start in a slightly elevated position. Our hips slightly elevated. So if you have a bolster, you can sit on that or a block. If not, you can just sit easy seated pose. Okay. So either just in a regular crisscross position, or you can also have the easy seated pose. For the easy seated pose, your ankles are lined up, or your heels are lined up, and my knees come down. And what happens is it elevates your hips a little bit more, so your hips are above your knees, and your knees are towards the ground, and then it helps lengthen your spine. So just closing your eyes, starting to get into your breath. And if it helps with your connection, to bring your hand onto your belly, or both hands, maybe one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. And then focus on your inhale, let your belly release. On the exhale, relax. Instead of forcing your breath in. Inhaling, exhale. Inhaling, exhale. And just go through a few more at your own pace. Good. Notice if you're holding on to anything in your shoulders, just release those down, relax. Closing your eyes, bringing yourself inward. Good. We're going to go into some alternate nostril breathing. So bringing your index finger and your middle finger down, so that you have your ring finger and your pinky. And then you're going to use your thumb and then that ring finger. So placing your thumb on your right nostril, inhale, plug, exhale, breathe through the right side. So inhale through the right, exhale through the left. Switch. Inhale through the left, exhale through the right. So just continue on at your own pace. Just engaging both sides of the brain. So as I speak, I can't do it, but just continue on with your alternate nostril breathing. So there's a connection between the nostril breathing and the connection to your brain. So those of you that know biology know that the right side of your brain controls the left side of your body and vice versa. So if you have a plugged nostril, what often happens is one side of your system is not actually getting activated. So it's either you're cooling or you're heating. So if you're breathing through your right nostril, it's the excitatory path, and if you're breathing through the left only, it's the relaxing. So we're trying to get both of them going. So you might need a Kleenex to plug that out or unplug it. Good. And you can release. Let's just take some shoulder rolls. And the other way. And then bring those shoulders up. Squeeze, 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 and release. And then up. And release. Good. Take your right ear to your right side. Just allowing it to naturally fall towards your right shoulder. Breathing into that side of your neck. And then start to tilt your nose towards your, let's say, armpit. And then nose to center. Nose to your left armpit. And then left ear to your left side. Good, and then bringing your chin towards your chest, and then looking up. Exhale to the chest. Inhale up. Exhale to the chest. Inhale up. Good, and then you can release that. If you're on a seat, just bringing yourself into your Baddha Konasana, so your seated butterfly pose. Okay, and then just same thing, relaxing. Notice that if your knees are really high off, you might want to take some blocks and just prep it there. And just what this allows your body to do is just allows your body to relax instead of clenching to hold your legs up. So it just kind of gives them a support system and engages that parasympathetic nervous system to relax. And then taking an inhale and then an exhale, just leaning forward with the chest. So a slight little bend to warm up. Picturing your belly drop as you inhale, and then your pelvic floor releasing as you exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Really picture the pelvic floor releasing on your exhales, rather than forcing an exhale to pull the belly button into the spine. So just let that exhale naturally go. All right, we're gonna warm up with some cat-cows. So bring yourself onto your hands and knees. All right. And going into our series of cat-cows. So spread those fingers wide. Inhale, look to the sky, drop the belly. Exhale, look towards your belly button. Inhale, look up towards the sky. Exhale towards your belly button. Inhaling. Exhale, really round. Press your shoulders away from each other, so press the ground away. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Coming back to center. Inhale, lift that right arm up. Exhale, thread the needle through. Option for your left hand. It can stay supported. It can be reaching forward. It can tuck into your back pocket. Of course, if your right ear doesn't hit the ground, you can just put a block underneath it. And then come back up to the other side. Good. Inhale, left hand. Exhale, thread the needle through. Again, option for your arm. It can be extending into a deeper twist, out, or into the back pocket. And again, you can always bring the ground towards you. Bringing back that breath. So filling the belly in with your inhales and the pelvic floor releasing as you exhale. Awesome. So you might need to move if you're in a little bit of a constricted area like I am. Put the left foot out so that the big toe is kind of in line with your front knee. And we're just going to start to rock forward and back, opening into that inner thigh. So if you can, press the foot flat to the ground. So really focus on that left pinky toe going into the mat. Just going forward and back. Of course, to your level, if you can't get your hips all the way back, then just go where you can. Good. And of course, if you have a block, you can sit on it if you need. We're just going to go all the way back and just have a nice little stretch on the inside of that left leg. So you can stay here, or like I said, you can prop with a block, and yours might be a little higher up. You might even be able to get down to your elbows. Good. And then bring yourself up. We're going to go back into that twist again. So we're going to be going to the opposite way of our leg. So if the left leg is out, the left hand comes up. And then exhale, thread the left down. So you might just be here hanging out. You might have a block, or you might be able to get all the way to the ground in your twist. And I really encourage you to use that right arm for support if you're taking the twist. And then bring yourself up. Keep those legs exactly as they are. We're going to go into our Purvangasana, our gate pose. So inhale, right hand up. Exhale, start to slide down. Just make sure you're not pushing on the knee. So you might be able to reach down. If you have a block, you might just want to use your block for support. And remember, we want to keep that right armpit up to the sky rather than twisting. We want to have a nice stretch all the way from our right knee to our right fingertips. Maybe even looking up towards the sky. Good, let's switch to the other side. So have your block handy, if you used it. So right foot out this time. Go. All right, and then we're just gonna start with that gentle rocking forward and back. Okay, and again, just to a position that's comfortable for you. Stretching into that inner thigh. Really trying to push that right pinky toe into the mat. And then using a block if you need to prop, coming all the way back, maybe even coming down to the ground. Just getting a nice stretch into the inside of that right leg. And then coming up. And then taking that twist. So the right hand comes up. Exhale, thread the needle through. If you can, of course, you might want to support yourself, right? So maybe you're just bringing your head to a block. Maybe it comes to the ground. Good, and then bring that hand up, coming back onto your knee. So keeping the legs as they are. Inhale, lift that right hand up. Exhale, coming over into our Purvangasana or gate pose. So again, you might want to block just so you're not pushing on that knee, causing it to bend in a position it should not go in. Keeping that left arm high, maybe even looking up towards the sky. Good. And then coming up, we're going to go into a little bit of a toe stretch here. So you're going to tuck those toes under. And for me, I have wide feet, so I'm going to actually take my fingers and spread those toes apart. Now, if this is too much for you, you can always place a block or a blanket underneath your bum. I know some people, even just putting any weight back is too much, so they actually just lean forward, and this is a stretch enough for them. So whatever works for you. It's not a comfortable pose. It's very, very uncomfortable. Of course, if you've ever had any injuries in your ankles or your toes, you probably don't want to do this one because that's actually painful, not just uncomfortable. So again, just try to bring your mind to something else as we stretch those toes out. Try to relax your shoulders, engage back into your breathing. All right, and then lift those toes up. And then if this feels okay on your ankles, start to lean back. And you might even be able to lift your feet off and get a nice little ankle stretch in the front part of your ankle. And of course, this might be enough for you, right? I know a lot of people have a hard time just sitting on their feet, let alone going back like this. So of course, find a level appropriate to you. Good. And then coming back, let's go back into our cats and cows just to reset our spine. So inhaling it up, exhale, inhale, exhale, and then back to center. Lift your right thumb to the sky, left foot extended back. So you can keep the toe on the ground for support, or you can lift it up for a balance. I like to flex my feet, so I like to push, bring my toes to the floor. Some people like to point, just depends on, if your training's more in bar or dancing. I like to flex. My main reason is I have tight calves, so whenever I can get an extra stretch in my calf, I like to do that. It also helps me keep my hips square. So the left hip, we don't want it high, we want it square. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Now you can keep it here, or you can reach that hand back, bend into the leg. Maybe you can even grab onto that foot and get a nice little stretch in the quad. Good, let's go to the other side. So lift the left thumb to the sky, right foot back. Again, you can keep it down there or you can bring it up. Again, toe flexed or pointed, up to you. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to lengthen. Last one, elbow to knee. Lengthen. Let's bend that leg. Reaching back with the left hand if you can. Find your balance. And I'm trying to keep those hips square. That's where the balance fun comes in. And really, it's good. We're going to go into a half moon, but kind of like a half moon. So Ardha Chandrasana. Just kind of mimicking that muscle memory that we're going to have when we are on our feet. So to do this one, I'm going to be facing backwards. I start on the other leg, but we're going to bring our right elbow down and then bring the left foot back and then start to rotate so that your right hip or left hip is on top of your right, and then bring that right hand up. So you might just stay in this position. Okay. Or perhaps you're bending into, you're lifting up that left leg. Maybe you're even coming up to your hand if that feels okay. So the goal is to stack the left hip on top of the right hip and flex the foot to engage the leg. Now you can keep here, or if you really want to practice the bind, there's a little more balance here. Bend into that leg and reach back with the left arm. Get an extra little bonus stretch. It is a little harder for balance. And then maybe even look up to the sky. That back foot's kind of like a little kickstand for balance. Good. Let's go the other side. So again, you can start in your elbow, right foot back, right hip up. Maybe you can bring your foot elevated, or you can bring yourself onto your hand. Okay, and then right hand up to the sky, flexing that foot. And if you feel like you have the balance, you kick back, grab on, have that, take that bind. Again, focusing on the right hip up to the sky, maybe even looking up to the sky. Good, and then you can come back down. Come back into your tabletop, untuck those toes, send yourself back into a downward facing dog. So walking out the dog, stretching out those calves, lengthening through your spine, starting to activate those fingertips. So spread the fingertips wide, pushing into the pads, taking that weight off the wrists. And then bend those knees, shoot the tailbone high to the sky, lengthen your spine, push the ground away. Don't dump into those shoulders. And if you can keep your nice straight spine, maybe even start to straighten your legs. Maybe keep them bent. I want you to focus on your spine rather than getting your heels to the ground. Okay, and looking forward, walk those feet in between your hands. Hands on your shins, lengthen to inhale. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way up and through to heart center. Good. So we're going to take some warm-ups here just to get into our lower back. Inhale, bring those hands up. Exhale, round to roll down. So really come chin to chest, ribs to hips, round as you come down. And just allow yourself to fold. Again, if you need blocks, you can take some blocks, place them underneath your hands. Bend your knees slightly, or even a micro bend. Just make sure we're not locking. And then same to come up, reverse it. So press your weight into your heels if it isn't already there. And then round, round. So come up with your spine before your shoulders. Picturing that. Good, let's go again. Exhale, chin to chest, ribs to hips, rolling down, taking the fold, and then slowly coming up, reverse. So rolling, 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 and then our ribs come away from our hips. And then chin comes away from your chest. Good. Inhale, lift those hands up. Exhale to fold. Hands on those shins, lengthen to inhale, flat back. Exhale to fold. Place those hands nice and wide. Walk back. Find your plank position. Okay. So from your plank, dropping to your knees, untuck those toes. Biceps forward, triceps back, hugging into your ribs as you slowly exhale, come down to the ground. Inhale to a cobra. Exhale through to tabletop and downward facing dog. So you can take as many modifieds as you need. For myself, my belly is getting in the way for my cobras. So I'm going to be going from my feet and going into a safe up dog for me, because there's more room. But of course, if you need a few more, I always encourage normally 3 modifieds just to warm up. So coming forward, again, you can drop to your knees if you choose. If you're coming with me, we're shifting forward, coming to our hover. Inhale to our up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take one more. Bringing yourself forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, either your cobra or your up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, and then let's take a child's pose. If you haven't done much on your wrist, this can always be a lot. So knees wide, and then hands can be in front of you, or any version that you like. I always like to bend at mine and get a little tricep stretch. And I want you to focus on your breath here, allowing your belly to release as you inhale and your pelvic floor to relax as you exhale. All right, coming back up into your tabletop, and then bring yourself into your downward facing dog. Looking forward, bring your feet to the front of your mat. Lengthen as you inhale. Exhale to fold. Bend those knees, sweep those hands up. Inhale. Exhale to our Tadasana. I'm just going to move a little bit away from the wall. There we go. All right, inhale, hands up. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant those hands, feet come to the back, find your plank position. Okay, and either from your knees to your toes, we're taking ourselves through vinyasa. You can always skip it and go right to downward facing dog. And then look forward, bring yourself to the front of your mat. Lengthen on your inhale. Exhale to fold. Inhale it up. And hands to the heart center. Get weight in your heels. Toes together, heels apart. If it works, if not, just keep your feet hip distance. We're going to come into our chair pose, Utkatasana. I know, the videotaping. Let's just, there we go. All right, so Utkatasana, chair pose. Keeping your chest up nice and tall, weight in your heels. So your knees should be behind your big toes. Exhale to fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant those hands, feet come to the back, find your plank position. And again, you can hold the dog or you can take it through vinyasa if you choose. Good. And then left heel drops in, right foot comes forward. Inhale, warrior one. So pushing into your left pinky toe. You can keep your hands together. You can bring them apart. You can always just bring them to your hips or your chest if that feels better. For a lot of people, this is a lot on their shoulders. Pressing forward with your front shin. Trying to pull that left hip forward. Exhale, bring those hands down. Bring that right foot back. Option to take a vinyasa or just hold it in the dog. And then right heel drops in, left foot comes forward. Inhale, warrior one. Again, find an option for your hands at work. Pressing with your left shin forward. And on your next exhale, bring those hands down, come back into a down dog, or take the vinyasa if you choose. And then looking forward, bring yourself to the front of your mat, hands on your shins, lengthen to inhale, exhale to fold. Inhale, come up into the chair. And bring yourself up and hands to the heart center and find your Tadasana. Good. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, take your fold. Hands on your shins, lengthen to inhale. Exhale, hands down, feet to the back of the mat. Now you can again just wait in the dog, or you can find that vinyasa if you choose. And then left heel drops in, right foot comes forward. Inhale, warrior one. Hands to heart center, open up. Rearrange your feet as needed. Come into a warrior two. So try to actively engage that right knee so that it's tracking over your middle toe rather than coming in. Flip that front hand, inhale, exalted warrior. Look towards either the sky or maybe your back left toe. And then come back into your warrior two. Bring your left or right hand to your knee. Sweep your left hand over and up into our side angle pose. I should have told you to put your block at the front of your mat. If you have one, we're going to be going into our half moon, our Ardha Chandrasana. So if you have a block, you can start to shift your weight forward, bringing your right hand to the block, starting to shift forward and bringing it up so that we're stacking our left hip on top of our right and opening up into our half moon. And of course, if you don't have a block, you can just try your best or bend your knee. Maybe use a chair. And then of course, if you want to take that bind, that's there for you. If you're extra challenging, you want to balance, you can always take that right hand up. Don't try to talk when you do it though, it's hard. Good. And then slowly float that left leg back, nice and gentle, 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 gentle with control. Good. Warrior two. And then windmill those hands down. Take yourself to a down dog, vinyasa if you choose. All right, right heel drops in, left foot comes forward. Inhale, warrior one. Again, have that block handy if you're using it. Or a chair, or a cushion. Hands to heart center, open it up. Let's take our warrior two. Flip that front hand, inhale, exalted warrior. Come back into that warrior two. Left hand down to the left thigh. Swing that right hand over and up, stretching into the right side of your body. And then looking towards that block, start to shift forward and then bringing that right foot up, stacking that right hip on top. So it's okay if your left foot isn't facing front anymore. Mine naturally just kind of comes inward just because of my hips, and that's fine. Right, whatever works for you. And then again, if you want to take that bind, you can reach back. Of course, if you want to balance, you can take that balance as well, or you can use your support. And then with control, slowly, slowly, slowly come back. Warrior 2. Windmill those hands down, taking yourself into a down dog, or if it works, take a vinyasa and downward facing dog. Good. Let's take a child's pose. I always forget to do those when I'm teaching, but when I do my own practice, I take them all the time. So come back and just relax. All right, and then bringing yourself back to your downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Exhale, bring it your knee to your nose. Inhale it up. Exhale, knee to your right bicep. Inhale it up. Exhale, let's twist to the left bicep if you can. Good. Inhale it up. Exhale, knee to nose, hold. Push the ground away. Round your back, create space, and gently place it down in between your legs. And then lower that back leg. Good. All right, so from here, walk that left hand under. You can always place that underneath the block. We're just going to twist open. Actually, let's bring that left leg back up. Sorry. Just give me a little more space and then switch. So you can drop that knee if you want. I just realized there's not enough space for me to do that. So I'm going to keep that back leg lifted. It's up to you what you do. Good. Then come back to center. Now you can drop the knee if you had it lifted and take your lizard or dragon. So I'm just going to use my bolster. I'm just going to lean on this and release down. I'm actually going to use a bolster and a block. Just relax my forehead and enjoy my stretch. All right. And then from here, we're going to be going into our pigeon pose. So I like to use my bolster for my pigeons. So we're just going to walk our right foot over towards our left wrist and then prepare for pigeon. So of course, if this doesn't feel good for you, you can take a figure 4 position on your back. So just threading the needle through, or you can even just take a cross-legged pose and then leaning forward. And then just make sure that that right knee is outside of the right hip, right? So it's not crossing this way, it's coming out. And then find a position that's comfortable for you. Use your props if you have them. They're so great for just getting the body to relax and release. Going back into that breathing. Inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, relax the pelvic floor. And then slowly start to come up. If you want to stay here longer, of course, you can just always pause. That's the beauty of this. And take that nice longer posture. I'm just trying to be careful not to overstretch my hips as I've done a couple of days. And then just coming back, find your downward facing dog. I like to kick out that leg or walk it out. Some people like to take a vinyasa. You choose what you would like to do. All right, let's go the other side. Left leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale it up. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Inhale it up. Exhale, twist it under to the right tricep. Inhale it up. Exhale, knee to nose, hover. Push the ground away, round, and try to gently bring it through. And you can drop your knee for the twist. I just don't have the room, my belly. So right hand down, left hand up. And then you can drop the knee if you haven't done so already. Coming into our lizard or dragon posture. Of course, if it feels better to stay up here, I forgot to offer that in the first one, you may absolutely go there. I like to come down onto my bolster and my block and just release and relax. Of course, it's your choice, whatever feels best for you. Again, bring it back into that breathing. So inhale, belly release or belly fills. Exhale, relax your pelvic floor. And then bring yourself up. Preparing for your version of pigeon. So again, that might look very different for you. You might be on your back. Just make sure that that left knee is outside of that left hip. Propping yourself up. I like to be very propped for my pigeon. And then again, bringing yourself down. If you feel anything in your knee at all, like just anything at all, again, take that threaded needle on your back. There was I think a 6-month period where I couldn't do pigeon without feeling anything in my knee, and I definitely always took that version, and then with time my hips loosened enough so that my knees didn't feel that pull. So just really on your body, and remember where you were yesterday or last week might be very different than where you are today, and that's okay. That's just your body telling you something. So just listen to it. Relax, release. And then bringing yourself up. Of course, if you want to stay here longer, you can. And then start to movement back into your body. So come into that down dog if that feels good. Shake it out. Then if it feels good, take a vinyasa. So check something. Okay, we'll all meet on our backs. So however you get there, get onto your back. We're going to take a series of back bends. So this is one I always avoid, which I shouldn't because I need them. We're going to start with a little opener. So if you have a bolster or a block, just grab your block, and what you're going to do is you're just going to place it kind of beneath where if you wear a bra, where the bra strap would be. And we're just going to bring our hands back, and we're just going to lean over it. So I might actually have to go to a lower setting for today. Yeah. So if you can go to a higher setting, that's great. But again, so the block is just kind of, beneath your shoulder blades. Your hands are supporting your neck. And then you're just going to take a little bit of back bend. See how that feels. You might even want it on the lower setting. And then slowly come up. Just a little bit of a upper back stretch there. And then we're just going to reset our back. So lay on your back. You can have your knees down or up. I like mine up. Keep my knees together and my heels apart just to kind of lengthen my spine again. I'm just gonna switch around so that my voice is closer to the computer. All right, so we're going to be taking some back bends. We're going to take 3. So if you know what you like to do, you can obviously change it up. So focus on rolling those shoulders under. I'm going to do 2 bridges and then 1 wheel. So inhale, press your heels into the ground, lift your hips up. And of course, arm choice is yours. You might interlace them. Roll those shoulders under more. Focus on bringing your chin towards, or your chest towards your chin. So push your heels into the mat to bring your chest to your chin. Exhale down. And then I'm going to take my Barbie or robot arms, pressing my elbows in to help bring my hips up. And then pressing my heels into the ground. And then down, and then preparing for your last one. If you're coming with me with wheel, again, come onto your head first, and then pushing yourself up. That's enough for me. You can obviously keep it longer. I'm just newer to my modified, but still trying to maintain what I can. And then just take a Baddha Konasana if that feels good, or you can just bring your knees together if that feels better. Good, and then just take some slow windshield wipers. Side to side. Just release your back first before you do that like hug into your knees that you really want to do. Good, and then hug those knees in. And then you can take a happy baby here if that feels good. I know I always like to complete this sequence with the happy baby. Again, your hands can be on your thighs or your feet, your ankles, your toes. All right, and then rocking up to a seated. We're just going to take a little bit of a modified windshield wiper. So your legs are kind of like so they're 90 degrees. So you're going to bring your right leg into a 90 and then your left leg as well. So it's kind of like a sloppy windshield wiper that you hold. And then just notice where you're holding on to anything. This is one of my pelvic floor exercises, and I'm really liking the rotation that I get in my hips from it. And then really focus on relaxing that right glute. If your right leg is the inside leg, if it's opposite, do the other, of course. Same with that breathing. Inhaling with the belly. Exhale, relax the pelvic floor, relax the glutes. All right, let's go the other side. Okay, so again, about a 90 degree. Just relaxing. You might feel nothing in this posture. I just feel a little bit of a rotation in my inside leg, so my left leg. And then let's come back to where we started in our Supta Baddha Konasana. And again, you can just take that fold, gentle. And then take any position that you may need before we get into our Shavasana. Just gonna grab something. So start to make your way into your Shavasana. And get yourself comfy. And you can relax into your relaxed position in your Shavasana. Of course, if your Shavasana looks different, I'm just taking a little different version because I'm not supposed to be on my back for long. This is a stretch for me. Of course, you can take any position that you'd like for your Shavasana. And then, of course, you can stay as long as you'd like, or you can start to make your way over to your side in a fetal position. And then bringing yourself up to seated. Hand choice can be yours. We have a invigorating rest of your day. Thank you for joining me on your mat today. From my heart to yours, namaste.